Dear learners, today we start with the multiple access techniques in satellite communication. Till now, we have completed our prerequisites, that is orbital parameters, its calculation, satellite link design, the Frisch equation, carrier to noise ratio, and the atmospheric effects, ionospheric effects, etc. Now, we will start with the multiple access technique related with it. So, what is meant by the term multiple access? Naturally, the first term comes into our mind is that multiple people want to access something, a single thing. Now, in satellite communication, what are the multiple things? That should be the number of channels. And what they want to access? It should be the transponder. So, access to a given facility, that means a transponder, by the multiple users, that means the channel, that will be called multiple access technique. It has four types. Number one, frequency division multiple access, that is FDMA. Time division multiple access, that is TDMA. Code division multiple access, that is CDMA. And space division multiple access, that is SDMA. Now, how you can explain the first three? I will talk into SDMA last part. Suppose you have a book rack which has a good height, depth, and width. Now you have your exercise books, that is the exercise copies. You want to keep it neatly in the book rack. Naturally, what we do, we keep the exercise copies one after another in the top. That means we are sharing basically the height of the book rack. Now, if you consider length of the book rack as time, height as frequency, and depth of the book rack as code, then it will be called, you are basically sharing the frequency. That means it is called FDMA, frequency division multiple access. Now, instead of your exercise copy, if you have, say, your textbooks of same height, naturally we keep textbook in the vertical mode. Now you are sharing length of the book rack, that means you are sharing the time, so it is time division multiple access. Now suppose you don't want to show all the books to others, you can show at least one book. What you can do? In the vertical position, just make a 90-degree shift so that one book can be seen from the outside. So now you are basically using the depth of the book rack. Now this is the code, that means you are making the code division multiple access. So let's go into slightly more details. What is FDMA? So different earth stations, they are able to access the total bandwidth of the transponder. Why? Because their carrier frequencies are different. So they avoid the interference among these signals. That's the picture given below, time, frequency, and power. Obviously, all the signals have same power. Now, how this occurs? For a single earth station, you have the baseband signals, multiple, they modulate different carrier frequency. These multiplet signals then modulate the higher carrier frequency. That signal is transmitted from earth station 1. So earth station, if you have 1 to n, then you will transmit n number of signals. These signals can access simultaneously the transponder bandwidth. This is FDMA. So what you are doing, you are sending multiple signals. Now, according to our undergraduate course of the digital communication, we have a term called FDM, that is frequency division multiplexing. Whether FDMA and FDM are same? The answer is no. Why? In FDM, you are using multiple baseband signal into a single signal, you are grouping it. A single signal is transmitted via a single channel. But in FDMA, you are sending the multiple signals. So that's basically the difference. You are not sending multiple baseband signal for FDM, whether you are saying multiple modulated signal for FDMA. That is the basic difference between the multiple access and multiplexing techniques. Both are frequency division, but the technology is different. So How FDMA works, that means individual channels are assigned to individual users. They are assigned on demand or on request basis. If you can't use, your channel will remain idle. You can't allocate to others. So available frequency band is divided into these non-overlapping channels and it's a continuous transmission. Please remind, FDMA is a continuous transmission process. So if you divide it, that means how many channels you can accommodate. Obviously, the total spectrum allocation minus the guard bands. You have the guard bands between different channels divided by channel bandwidth. So if channel bandwidth of a particular channel, if all the channels are lower, then you can accommodate more channels. That means FDMA basically supports the narrowband transmission. Please remind it, FDMA is a continuous process and supports the narrowband transmission. How could I get the carrier to noise ratio? The first formula written here is already derived. That means the net C by N inverse is C by N inverse for uplink, for downlink, and for intermodulation. Now, net carrier to noise ratio inverse should be greater than the required value. So, C by N inverse, that is the required value, should be less equal of sum of these items. Now, if you consider a practical purpose, the uplink noise is naturally negligible. We have to consider downlink noise, that is discussed our satellite design part 2. And intermodulation noise is also can be neglected at least up to a level. So what we consider, that C by N required should be less equal C by N of downlink. Again, the downlink comes into play. That is the most important scale. I am calculating in dB scale. So if downlink we have derived, it is a function of EIRP, G by T, loss parameter, Boltzmann constant, and signal bandwidth. And generally assume signal bandwidth and noise bandwidth are equal. So C by N required value should be less than EIRP, that is effective isotropic radiated power, plus G by T of earth station, minus all the losses, minus Boltzmann constant, minus bandwidth. Remind, I am calculating everything in dB scale. So that is the C by N required expression for FDMA. So why FDMA is advantage? It is one phone circuit at a time per carrier. You do not require multiple circuit. Simple equipments are required from earth station. Very low ISI because you are using the guard band. No complex timing and synchronization technique because you are considering non-overlapping channels. You can use any sort of modulation technique, no restriction. And when traffic is uniformly constant, it's very, very efficient. But unfortunately, all the time traffics are not uniformly constant. But the problem is, if I have neglected the intermodulation C by N, but if intermodulation increases, then it affects the SNR. And there will be adjacent channel interference. And if you have this intermodulation and adjacent channel interference, then you have to use RF filter. Now RF filter has a higher cost. That means that your system cost starts to increasing. So look for an alternative. I am going for now TDMA. TDMA means we are making the time division. So different earth station under one satellite make use of the transponder through a single carrier. Now you have to share the time. That means all can't access at the same time. So earth station under one satellite, they have now time sharing, but instead of that, they can use a single carrier. So composite the time multiplex signal that modulates a high frequency carrier. Now you can use any modulation method, no restriction. And these multiple time multiplex signals from different earth stations, they should have the same carrier frequency, then they can access the satellite. But obviously at a different time slot. So in different time slot, different time multiplex signal can access the transponder who should have the same carrier frequency. Now again the question, whether TDMA and TDM are same? Answer is same. No. In TDM, that means time division multiplexing, multiple baseband signals are simultaneously transmitted from a given earth station in digitized form through a single channel. But here you are sending multiple signals having a same carrier frequency. So again, multiple access and multiplexing are not same, whether it is frequency domain or time domain. Going more details. So if you have n number of time slots, that means it will be shared into n channels. So each user has a particular time slot, that means it is a discontinuous transmission. Now comes to the difference with FDMA. FDMA is a continuous transmission process, here it is discontinuous transmission. So what is the TDMA frame structure? You have a reference burst, then followed all the traffic burst. And there will be guard time between the traffic burst. One traffic burst have a preamble and information. Preamble have carriers and clock recovery, a unique word or keyword, and signaling channel. It also the same as reference burst. So what is this reference burst and preamble and traffic burst? Let's go into more details. Reference burst is a combination of primary and secondary burst. Primary is transmitted to the primary station, secondary is naturally transmitted to the secondary station. Now why secondary? If primary fails. If primary fails, the secondary is automatically switched to the primary. It doesn't carry any traffic information, the reference bus, but it provides the timing reference. That's most important because you are getting time division access. So the number of channels here, the again difference between spectrum allocation minus twice of guard band divided by channel bandwidth. This function number of multiplied by number of TDMA user per channel, because you are sharing the channel, sharing the time, so different time slots. So multiplied by a function which is number of TDMA users per channel. So what is now traffic burst? Traffic burst are position after reference burst. Timing reference is taken from the reference burst, from the primary reference burst, and they start to send the information. And what is the guard time? It separates the different traffic burst. Now, if you want to increase the number of channels, your guard band should be as less as small. Then you can include more traffic burst, that means more information. So it has a flexible bit rate, no frequency guard band required, but time guard required. It doesn't require narrowband filter. You can go for wideband one. It's cost effective. Source lifetime increases, but the problem is you have to make the timing synchronization. Otherwise, the total system will not work. And for uplink, it requires very high peak power. So there is a power requirement also. That means the cost. So these are the disadvantages of TDMA. Next, go to the difference between FDMA and TDMA. So in FDMA, we have already learned there is no synchronization required, but for TDMA, synchronization is required. For FDMA, peak power is low. For TDMA, peak power is large. FDMA carrier frequency requires TDMA, no requirement of carrier frequency. FDMA, you have made the disjoint subband. Here you have disjoint time slots. FDMA is continuous transmission, TDMA discontinuous mode. Here you are dividing the total channel into multiple RF channels. TDMA, you are dividing entire bandwidth among the different subscribers. Duty cycle of earth station is higher for FDMA. For TDMA, it will be lower. Naturally, data rate for TDMA is higher and FDMA is lower. TDMA, because time synchronization is required, so system will be more complex. FDMA system will be less complex. But similarly, less complex means less immune to interference. TDMA is more immune to interference. FDMA is normally used for GSM and TDMA used for AMPS. That means advanced mobile phone system. Next comes to the CDMA. CDMA means you are now using the channel. That means the code. So total transponder bandwidth is simultaneously used by multiple earth stations at all times. So each transmitter should have a unique code, otherwise there will be interference. So receiving stations decoded the signal by matched decoder who should have the same code. That means the unique code should be shared between a pair of transmitter and receiver. Then the signal can be properly decoded at the receiving earth station. So CDMA is part of the spectrum multiple access. I will discuss the spectrum technique in the next class. But the direct sequence, spread spectrum, everything I will go for the next class. But just consider now CDMA is a part of spread spectrum multiple access technique. More precisely, it is DSSS. The chip rate for CDMA is much higher than the data rate. So naturally, if chip rate is higher, it will provide the better capacity for voice and data communication. That means more subscriber can be connected at a given time. So there are different CDMA schemes: direct sequence, frequency hopping, and time hopping. What is direct sequence? The original data signal is multiplied directly by the high chip rate. In frequency, the carrier frequency, that means the data signal is transmitted based on the carrier frequency, that is changed according to the chip rate. And in time hopping, it is a discontinuous process. Signal is transmitted not continuously, it is transmitted in the short burst, when the time of the burst are decided by the chip rate or the spreading code. So DSSS and FHSS have a different thing. In DSSS, original signal is directly multiplied. FHSS, carrier frequency is multiplied. It is sent, and time hopping, it is a discontinuous process. So what is SDMA? I am coming to the last part of this. SDMA means it uses the spatial separation between multiple transmissions. So there are different curves I am showing for a particular antenna. There are spatial separations. The lobe are not intermixing. So for this purpose, different antenna beam polarizations required, and total Earth surface that can be covered by a single satellite. That is the space division. So you are considering the total by a single satellite. So base station basically track the users when they are moving or they are stationary. It doesn't matter. But should be, the coverage area should be under a single frequency. If frequency changes, then the coverage area changes, then you require different tracking mechanism. So it basically optimizes the use of radio spectrum. If you have a same coverage area, then a single tracking is enough. That means a single frequency. So the spectrum usage is basically minimized. Optimized means here it is basically minimized. That is basically the SDMA is. But again, when it is hopping, it depends on the when it changes from one coverage area to another coverage area. And that means if the frequency changes, then we have to reallocate the matter. So that's about the multiple access techniques. These are some selected reference from some fundamental textbooks. That's all. In the next class, I will go for the spread spectrum technique. Thank you.